Here's the one type of jig you need for the rest of the winter into the spring. And that's going to be a finesse jig. When we talk about finesse jigs over a normal kind of jig or any other kind of jig, it's not necessarily a finesse jig is a lighter jig. This is a almost half-ounce finesse jig. It has a smaller hook and a lighter skirt. Those two things generally is what makes a finesse jig a finesse jig. If you go to a finesse jig and downsize everything, it really helps you build that confidence in a jig. Yes, you won't be catching giants all the time, but it allows you to catch a few fish on a jig and get those few first bites and start understanding what makes a bass bite a jig. And here are a few of my favorites. First is going to be a jig that I've been talking about all of last year, but this is the Beats Coast Fishing Hybrid Finesse Hustler. They come in a ton of great colors, and what's really great about these is, yes, it's a finesse skirt, but they also add a little bit of hair in the back. So you can even fish this without a trailer, and you get a really nice action out of this hair coming off the back. From the world of JDM, there's two that I really like. Keitech, the ones that make the paddle tails, make a really great finesse jig. Not really, they don't have that kind of spider cut jig skirt like other finesse jigs here in the US. However, in general, JDM jigs are tied with less skirt material than here in the US. So overall, it's going to be a lighter skirt tie, but they make a really nice tungsten football head jig. So for a finesse option on a tungsten football head, the Keitech jig is really great. As you can see, it's a super small hook, super sharp, but also a lighter weed guard. And finally, recently on Whatnot, I've been seeing the Raid Japan's Egudama finesse jig come up a lot. It's a weird kind of middle ground between a football head jig and a casting jig. But as you can see, super light skirt material. It has these longer strands in the back, so you can actually fish it without a trailer, and a nice small hook and a light weed guard. And then when it comes to trailers, especially in these colder months, I like using something that doesn't have a lot of action, so not craw trailers. And when it comes to fishing a finesse jig, you fish it just like you would on any other jig. It's great for ponds. I recommend these lighter finesse jigs for ponds. Like a lot of my finesse jigs are a 1/4 ounce size, especially when I'm fishing ponds, because the worst thing is if you go to like a 3/8 ounce or like a 1/2 ounce jig and you cast it into a pond, you're going straight to bottom. Having a lighter jig gives that bait a little bit more time to fall, but also when you're dragging this on the bottom, as we'll do a lot during the colder month, it's not digging itself into the bottom, especially if like a mud bottom or like dead leaves on the bottom. A lighter jig will stay above all that muck and not bring it up every single cast. With the jigs, we're going to be looking for places that hold warmer water, so that can be a mud bottom, places with a lot of chunk rock. We're going to cast it out there, and we're going to be fishing these pretty slowly. We're going to be dragging these across the bottom. If you feel something like a rock or like a little branch in the water, you can pop it over it, but just slowly moving it and letting the bass come and find it and come see it. And as we move into the spring and the waters get warmer and warmer, we can start working in more hops. We can be a little bit more active with our movement. So what are you waiting for? Get out there.